Johnny Depp has this quiet, tender mystery to him, and it all comes from a personality type most people get wrong. I'm Eric Wen. I analyze and teach people about their personality patterns so they can fix their blind spots and think more clearly. After watching over 7 hours of old clips and interviews, I don't think Johnny Depp is the personality type people think he is.
I never wanted to be the center of attention. I never really was comfortable with that.
The first thing I noticed about Johnny Depp is he would regularly not adjust himself for whoever he was talking to. There were so many clips where the interviewer would really try to reach out and engage with Johnny Depp more. And consistently, Johnny would not interact very quickly and instead regularly do his own thing and carve out space to process things more internally. In many different ways, Johnny Depp showed very clear introverted personality patterns, and in particular, a strong preference for something called introverted feeling.
There were other things that I probably should have done, but it's not me. It wasn't me. If I had to do leading man things just to continue to work, nah, I'd rather go back to pumping gas.
Introverted feeling is a personality superpower that shows up with all FP and TJ personality types. It's basically a decision-making style that likes to slow down and go inward to emotionally check in with what authentically feels right to me. What are my values? What do I truly care about and stand for?
I made choices for a character that I believed in, and I knew who that guy was. Basically just said to them, look, if you don't like him, you're welcome to fire me.
Personality types that have a strong preference for introverted feeling deeply believe in checking in with their feelings and standing up for their personal values and emotional convictions. This is why you'll also often see them feeling frustrated and uncomfortable whenever it comes to something called extroverted thinking. Extroverted thinking is the exact opposite of introverted feeling, and it's a decision-making style that likes to zoom out and think about things more impersonally. It naturally likes focusing on results, competency, what makes logical sense to do to get things done and move things forward. If you're an IFP personality type, this detached, impersonal, results-oriented way of thinking can feel deeply uncomfortable, upsetting, and wrong.
Everybody in Hollywood always concerned about how much money a movie is gonna make. Who cares about the numbers, you know?
Because you need to go against the grain of whatever they're trying to make you, you know?
Well, the system, the industry, I was, without question, a product. Not my own product, I was somebody else's product, and it was a very uncomfortable situation.
Towards the third season, it started to get a little false, you know? It's like a can of soup. I don't want to just be sort of a jester and, like, you know, throw chicken heads at people and have them be entertained, you know?
Johnny does naturally focus on his personal feelings and authenticity, but to be clear, that doesn't mean he's a personality type that only likes thinking about himself.
I try to sign as many things as I can. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make them feel like I don't have time.
They didn't call themselves Indians, did they?
No, they're the human beings, yeah.
That's right.
Something people don't talk about enough is how introverted feelers can also deeply care about others, kindness, and the way that they treat others. Sometimes people get confused thinking only specific personality types like prioritizing other people's feelings, when in reality, all personality types can like being helpful and kind, motivated by their own cognitive functions specific to them. In Johnny's case, do you see how he never stops talking about things personally? He does naturally focus inward on his personal feelings, but many times as a way to empathize and connect more personally with others. It's very much like, if I were them, how would that make me feel? As a human being, I know I have dark sides and messy motivations. It didn't matter if he was talking about fans, strangers, or even real-life murderers he was playing. It really stood out to me seeing the way Johnny would naturally use his own feelings to be thoughtful of others and spotlight their humanity.
I've known darkness in my life, but that was the darkest period ever, you know. The parents are the ones who are slowly dying, and to be able to bring a smile, it means everything in the world to me, you know. Everybody's damaged. Everyone is damaged on some level.
What we think of as bad people or whatever, they all have a side where there is a kindness and there is love and there is deep emotion, you know.
So at this point, it was pretty clear Johnny Depp is an IFP personality type. But is he an INFP or an ISFP? This is where things get a lot more tricky. Before we start, I do want to say my goal with today's video is to help you learn some new things about your personality wiring and others. Learning Myers-Briggs and the cognitive functions has genuinely changed my life, helped me connect so much better with others, and make progress with certain blind spots that originally I couldn't even describe clearly. The problem though is learning cognitive functions all by yourself online, I don't know why it has to be this way, but it's sort of a stereotype minefield. So seeing that problem, that's what actually motivates me to make these videos, watch hours and hours of clips, and work super hard on these videos trying to make things interesting and easy for you guys to understand. I don't make these videos because I lose sleep over Johnny Depp's personality type or what I think you guys should think about Johnny Depp's personality type. What I really enjoy is helping you guys better understand your personality wiring, your blind spots, and things you might be missing about the people around you. Anyways, just wanted to be super clear. Those are my intentions. Those are my goals. Let's get back into Johnny Depp. Something unique about both IFP personality types is they naturally bounce back and forth between a sensing and intuitive way of looking at things. So it's actually common for these two personality types to feel confused even themselves sometimes which of the two they prefer, sensing or intuition. Johnny definitely has an intuitive side, a side that's comfortable sometimes reading into things or talking about things more abstractly.
I believe it's exactly the reason I ended up what I am. I think it's, listen, childhood is an interesting thing.
At the same time though, Johnny is also clearly comfortable with sensing. He was often sharing very realistic and grounded perspectives, filled with descriptions and concrete context that were super clear and not filled with intuitive guessing.
Because in his right hand, he had a cattle prod. It's about yay big. He's swinging that around. And in his left, he had a stun gun. Some little boxes about yay big. Look like a matchboxes, And I've got a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. Walked out of the coffee shop chewing on a spoon, like this metal spoon.
So sensing versus intuition, how can we tell which of the two he prefers if he naturally bounces back and forth between both? To figure this out, we need to look at how does Johnny Depp like to explore and push limits in the outside world. This is because when you compare their cognitive functions, INFP and ISFP personality types actually like to explore and spontaneously engage with the outside world in completely different ways. ISFPs like playing around in reality. With their strong preference for extroverted sensing, they naturally tune into the energy and sensations that they experience in their bodies. When they engage physically and focus on what they're sensing, it often quiets their mind, allowing them to just be. This creates space for them to play, experiment, and stay in flow with whatever unfolds around them in the real-time present moment. For ISFPs, they often feel this pull to take what matters to them personally, introverted feeling, and give it real, concrete, tangible form. Instead of jumping quickly into abstract possibilities, they enjoy engaging with what's actually there, responding quickly to what emerges in the moment, and creating visceral sensory experiences that land and resonate deeply with others. On the other hand, INFPs like playing around in abstraction. With their strong preference for extroverted intuition, they naturally tune into ideas, meanings, concepts, and connections that catch their attention and inspire them in the outside world.
I hated school and I didn't realize why. I look back on it and I get angry. I'm angry about it because there might be a brilliant ballerina somewhere in a school who's being forced to do math, but if she was just allowed to express, then she would be happy and she could make hundreds and thousands of other people joyous for a couple of hours at night.
We never get enough time with each other, right? No matter if someone lives till 60, 15 or 99. I'm indebted to everyone who's brought me to this place so that I can honor the most beautiful person that I've ever experienced in my life and use it as a way to heal, use it as a way to sew up the wounds, because that's what we do, right? That's what we do. That's what you do every night. You sew up our wounds. You sew up our wounds.
For INFPs, aliveness doesn't come from clearing their minds or testing the limits of their real-world physical experience. Instead, they're energized by the inspiration they feel when they engage with something mentally, especially something they find interesting and that sparks their curiosity. Their spontaneity shows up less in what they actually do or physically try in real life, but more in how they quickly link concepts together, recontextualize things, and look around for new possible connections in the moment. So to be clear, both personality types can be interesting and creative and really value spontaneity and play. But where they like to play, where they like to push limits creatively is actually completely different.
It was just really a good time. I mean, mashing a potato with a tennis racket.
Do you ever feel a little, like silly, or was that difficult?
Unfortunately, I didn't feel silly at all. I felt really comfortable.
I dug a tunnel in my backyard that would go into my closet so that I could escape, and the George Washington wig came out, the turban came out. I took a rubber band and I wrapped it around the back of my tongue.
Sometimes I smoke 2-3 cigarettes at a time. If I could have another mouth grafted onto my face to smoke more, I would do it.
Okay, so let's think about this. Spontaneously digging a tunnel, putting on a George Washington wig, wrapping a rubber band around his tongue, and mashing potatoes with a tennis racket. Is Johnny Depp playing around in abstraction, or is he playing around in reality? Do you see how when Johnny's pushing limits, he's always pushing limits with what he's willing to actually do and try in real life? That's not jumping to abstract connections and possibilities. That's playing around in concrete reality.
Well, that's the key, is be. Being is mostly reacting. It's not acting. It's first thought, best thought.
I prefer to be surprised by the atmosphere, by the elements, by another actor, I don't want to know what they're going to do or what I'm going to do.
After watching hours and hours of clips, everything I found points to Johnny Depp being an extroverted sensor. Johnny liking to explore and engage with the outside world in a way that doesn't line up with INFP preferences, but instead, ISFP. If you think about it, it sort of makes sense, right? Look at the roles that Johnny Depp loves. Johnny's extroverted sensing is the reason why he probably kept almost getting fired for the extreme creative choices he would make with his characters in terms of how they should look, new ways he wanted to physically move his body or improvise quickly in the moment.
They didn't understand your portrayal. They didn't know what the character was.
Basically what it got down to was, what is he doing? We can't understand what he's saying. We don't understand a word he's saying. Is he drunk? Are you drunk?
You've got to lose the things on the dangly things. What's that sore on your face? Please, what is he? What's going on?
As mentioned before, Johnny Depp definitely has an intuitive side, but not necessarily as one of his top 2 highest preferences. When I was researching for today's video, I did look around for extroverted intuition, but every single time I actually kept running into examples of introverted intuition, not extroverted intuition. Introverted intuition is a specific type of patterning that shows up with all NJ and SP personality types. In contrast to extroverted intuition that likes brainstorming quickly with the outside world in real time, introverted intuition is a much slower, more internal process that likes to mentally play out experiences in the mind, visualize things from different internal perspectives to try to guess where things might be leading or what else might be going on underneath the surface. For ISFP personality types, introverted intuition can be a source of creativity and imagination. It's the side of them that sometimes likes going inside the mind to imagine a specific possibility more in depth without limits. It can also sometimes show up as a slightly paranoid and suspicious side of them that pops up when they see something in the moment that makes them worry about where things might be leading or what people's hidden motivations could be underneath the surface.
The minute that started happening, I was scared to death because I thought, oh my God, I see the death coming. I can see it coming. I could smell it.
There was a knock at the door one afternoon, and everybody was off rehearsing. And they said, is Tom Hanks here? Does he live here? And I said, what? And I said, no, not yet. And I was convinced that Hanks would be replacing me. I was convinced.
The way Johnny Depp came up with Captain Jack Sparrow is actually a great example of his extroverted sensing and introverted intuition working together.
He was actually born in a sauna. I thought about this guy, and I figured this is a guy who's been on the sea, therefore had probably dealt with a lot of inescapable heat. His brain has been parboiled to some degree. So I cranked the sauna up to about 1,000 degrees.
Here, do you see Johnny's extroverted sensing that's so quick to jump into a brand new sensory experience just for fun?
Sat in there until it started to affect me mentally.
Then, using introverted intuition, he goes inside his mind to visualize and slowly explore what Captain Jack Sparrow's world could actually be like. How hot? What sensations could he be feeling? And how would that affect the way he moves?
I always saw this guy as like this organism, this constantly changing, moving organism that would change shape to fit a situation.
I felt that he would, on a ship, be fine. He's got his sea legs, but when he gets on land, he cannot get land legs, so therefore he's very on land.
Putting all these personality patterns together, extremely high confidence and certainty with introverted feeling, Johnny creatively bouncing back and forth between extroverted sensing and introverted intuition. And then finally, a recurring frustration, uncertainty whenever it came to extroverted thinking. The personality fit that kept showing up consistently and makes the most sense to me for Johnny Depp's personality type is that he is an ISFP personality type. If you want to learn more about the cognitive functions and work together with us on your goals and personality blind spots, you can reach out on our website, linked down below in the description. Besides that, here's another video. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Catch you guys in the next ones.